Hello card fighters, I am JYCCKSC and I'll be giving you a budget version of Gears. So yeah, let's get this started. And before we do, be sure to subscribe to my channel if you want more budget decks or competitive decks depending on the situation. So yeah, let's get started. So first off, you always want to start with your starter. It's pretty basic. You just need this one, that's your starter. Your grade 4 lineup, you would run 4 copies of Idealized Dragon because what it does is as long as you have one or more cards with the as long as your grade is like 1 or more, you just put a unit from your opponent's rear to the bottom of the deck. 5 or more, call the top card of your deck to rear. 11 or more, you just become a Granblue unit and then become Soul Saver. It's pretty good. 11 plus is pretty easy to pull off. Hopefully you guys know how to pull it off. Grade 3 lineup. 4 Lost Legends because they stride and you get to draw due to stride skill. And you're most likely going to have this in your Vanguard circle most of the time. And then your other grade 3 is a Screwed Dragon. A Screwed Dragon pretty much works on both van and rear. When you swing at your Vanguard, counterblast one, bind one of your other rear guards, and then choose one of your opponent's rears that is great less than itself, put it to the bottom of the deck, and if it was put into the bottom of the deck, you pretty much draw. Alright, on to the grade 2s. Grade 2s, you would want to run 4 copies of Lost Break, because when you have him on Vanguard Circle, you just bind a unit from your hand early game just so that you can make Idealized Dragon more viable. And it works before you go into any other units. And then you would want to run 4 copies of Lippet, because Lippet is pretty much, when placed on hand, bind a card from your drop zone, and it's a 13k beat stick. I mean, you bind a card from your drop zone, which is pretty good, because you're most likely going to be binding cards from either drop or hand, regardless of what it is, most of the time. And then you run 3 copies of Nabu, because Nabu, when you attack, just bind a card from your drop zone, and your opponent cannot call grade 1 or higher units from their hand until the end of the battle, and once the battle's done, you just put into your soul, and then you draw a card. Pretty simple, and it's pretty decent. Alright. And then your grade 1 lineup, you run 4 copies of Wedge Move because 1, he's a stride fodder, and 2, it's great for going second because once you open him in going second, you just attack, your opponent lets the attack hit, you bind a card from your hand, and then you just draw a card. Pretty simple and cool. You run 3 Kalanes because when you boost the attack with Kalane, you just Soul Blast 1, your opponent cannot intercept, and they can only call up to 3 Guardians. I mean, it is pretty good when you have a rear guard that's like really high powered and with big numbers, because they'll be guarding with like a crap ton of cards from their hand to guard it, but people say it sucks because they're most likely going to PG it. Well, I say it's like, not really, because some people want to like go extra guarding. Like some people go for 4 more guards. Well, this one just like restricts it to 3 or less. So yeah, and then at the end of the battle, you just bind it, which is pretty much decent because you're going to be binding most of the time. Then I run 3 copies of Quickie Worker because when you place, just put a card from your drop zone to the bottom of the deck. If you put a grade 3 or higher unit, Soul Blast 2 and draw a card. The good thing about this card is that if you recycle grade 3 or higher, you just Soul Blast 2 and draw a card. There's no problem with Soul in this deck, but all you gotta do is just recycle grade 3 or higher, and then you draw. If not, that's fine if you want to recycle a trigger. And then for your last 2, you're gonna run 2 copies of Mimine, because when you stride, you draw a card and discard a card from your hand. And if you discarded a grade 3, 3 of your units gain 5k. So if you pitch a grade 3, that's fine. You just gain 5k to 3 of your rear guards. This card is pretty good because you just draw and then ditch one and go for 5k. If you don't ditch a grade 3 or higher, then that's fine. You just like plus regardless. Your trigger lineup, let's just say 8 crit, 4 heals, and then you run your basic drop EGs. You can change the lineup a little bit and change it to like 7 crits, 4 draws, and basically 4 heals because it's necessary. So that is it for my deck profile. Be sure to subscribe to my channel for more of the budget versions of any decks, or I can go a little bit competitive on those certain decks. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!